question that we're gonna have, and it's gonna kind of touch on what you said about
Right.
Straightway and the $400 chat that they received, the live stream. Do any of the Hebrew Israelites use the quote Levitical priesthood model for
Yeah.
money and benefits?
Yeah. Sakari does. So, I mentioned the $400 super chat, but again, you hear my criticism for Dow and them. However, I'll tell you something. I have not seen them push for money in a way that I felt was unwarranted. Meaning, some people are like, "You shouldn't get anything." I'm like, "Hey, look, if it's a free country, if a person believes in something, then they can give to that. That doesn't necessarily mean someone's ripping them off or whatever. It's like, okay, that's your money. That's what you think." So I've never seen. I'm not saying it doesn't use. I haven't seen. Although there is some weird stuff about DAO in the community when you come in. Supposedly, like give your paycheck over to the community, and it's like because it's like a communist arrangement. I don't know all the details about that, but again, if that's what you're deciding to do, now again, it's weird to put that model on people because they kind of put it on people when they move there. But if that's what you sign up for, then you know what it is. It's hard to like criticize it if that's what you
Right,
decide to do. It's weird to me if
right.
my pastor's like, "Hey, sign over your checks," and I'm like, "Hey, well, you know." But they don't do it on that basis. Theirs is like this is about the community building and all that. Sakari, hey, I'm a Levite, got paid tithes to Levite, man. But then it's funny. The other groups can't do that, so they have to do some other kind of basis. Like for example, the ISUPK, he's not claiming to be a Levite, so he can't do it on that basis. So they'll say that's wrong. So some of the basis is different as far as that. Um, and some of the groups are inappropriate in how they solicit funds and how they go about it. Because when members leave, sometimes they send us the screen messages, and it's like this is basically what you've seen sometimes in some of these, like with the UPK and Sakari. It's like, hey, just checking up on you. You haven't given XYZ amount this month. What's up? you know, and someone might say, well, that's accountable. That's this, that's that. But it's like, especially when they criticize Christian church for being a money making scheme and all this. Cause I look at
Right,
a lot of small
exactly.
churches that I work with, Alton, like small churches with very common people. And I see what they're trying to do. And then I look over here and I see Sakari's got a GoFundMe that they started about 5 years ago, and they've raised $80,000 on it. That's just a general GoFundMe. That's not even the rate. That's not their tie. The store. That's not the regular. That's just a separate fund. Like I think about little churches. If they had a 5-year-old GoFundMe, would it have 80K on it? And I'm like, yeah, most of them not so much. So
Exactly.
we realize when we interact with some of these guys, you're like, why do you act so crazy, guys? Some people are so flabbergasted. What? It's like, bro, they get paid to act like this. There's people who like this behavior, and they like, shalom, send that money. They're like feeling this kind of wild, so they don't have a motivation to change. Or when you challenge a doctrine and it's clear they're wrong, they're making money off of it. Now, not all of them. I know Tahar runs around still Ubering people and stuff, and I don't think they have a very tight system of how they, I don't think they're raking in cash. It doesn't seem to be, but some of the other ones got a bag going on, man. They got, and it's not just the top guy. There's like a whole thing. We saw that with the ICJC. Mainly was benefiting Tazadakia, but the treasurer was getting some cash too. We saw he was making it happen. And so, we do see that. And so when, they talk about this and that with the church, yeah, there's churches like that, not healthy churches. And there's some wild people out there, Creflo Dollar, I want a plane. And if they discover life on Mars, you guys are going to help me fund a rocket ship so I can go preach the gospel to Mars. Imagine being a Martian. The first gospel you hear is the prosperity gospel.
Right.
Like, dear, you know. So, I mean, this is what he said. He said, "I'm going to go preach the gospel to Mars. Oh, we should rocket ship." So, yeah, we know that exists, but it's not like there's an exemption with some of these camps, man. It's clear they just got a money making scheme. Some of them. Now, all of them, no. Does that mean that I don't think anyone's sincere? I'm not saying that, but we got to realize like that's definitely going on. I mean, just watch some of these live streams where these guys get the super chats, and you're like, yo, like we're happy when we get a little something, something, and they'll criticize us. Anything we do pales in comparison to what's going on with some of these groups. Like the
Oh yeah,
amount of
yeah.
momentum and cash they got flowing in. Like, yo, it's ex-members have told me the information they have is that, like, for example, Alazar, he's he's in six figures at this point, man. You know,
Wow.
I mean, we're getting
Wow.
awfully close to it because you're talking. Uh, talking a good amount of money there. I mean, that's not the only one. We'll see. We'll see. They get mad when you talk about that, but it's like, because I was out there recently with Sakari, and they're like, we don't have an agenda. We don't have an offering plate out here collecting. I'm like, what? But what about that Cash App though? And then I remember the one guy told me, well, Alazar also pays into the Cash App. I was like, wait, but it's his Cash App. Yeah, but not all of his money's in Cash App. I was like, so you're telling me he pays into his own Cash App for tithes, so that's why it's okay, but it's his Cash App. It was the strangest thing. Like,
Yeah, it
you're like,
is.
you're brainwashed, man, and you're mad at me. Am I your enemy because I now tell you the truth? Like, you're brainwashed. This isn't healthy for anybody. I mean, I guess it's healthy for someone's pockets. And again, he's not the only one. Look at Hassad, or I'm sorry, Deacon Hakaz's patron. You're like, yo, man. The average Christian urban apologist is glad if they got like 20 patrons, if that. These
Right,
guys got
exactly.
11. These guys got 1,100, 500, just raking it in, boy,
Yeah.
raking it in. So
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy.
now, am I telling patron and them to kick them off? No, I'm a free speech absolutist. So I just want to make sure people know. I'm just calling it when they try to say this and that in the Christian church or and answer this person's question. And again, does that mean no one's sincere? I'm not saying that. I'm a free speech absolutist. I don't think any of those folks should be removed or kicked off. Now, if they're breaking the law, that's up to whoever deals with that, right? But that I want to give that caveat. That's still as far as my view goes.